Hello and welcome to our Hump Day Lunch Break Live. So excited to be here today. I hope you are too. I have a fun card for us today. Doesn't require a lot of stamping and is a great way to use some of your designer series paper. So I just need to actually get right into my views here so I can see everyone's wonderful comments. Tell me where you're at today and what you're having for lunch. I haven't even thought about what I'm doing for lunch today yet. I'm so excited to just be stamping. So we went away for the weekend and yeah, I didn't get much stamping done. So let me know that you're here. Send me some love. Give me a thumbs up. And if you're watching the Hump Day Lunch Break on replay, please type replay in the comments so that I know. And also, I will be uploading this to YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, say hi. Let me know what you think about the card. It helps me know what things to bring you more. And please make sure if you're on YouTube that you subscribe to my channel so that way you can see my videos in your feed. And also if you click the little notify bell on YouTube, you'll be notified when you log into your YouTube account that I posted a new video. So I did actually just make one public little earlier today, and we'll have this one and we'll probably have one more within the next day or so. Let's see. I am extending the Happy Easter class to the end of the week. I do have some kits available, so I wanted to make sure if anyone is interested in that class, I'll put a link in the video description. So this is the class right here. And what it will do is it'll tell me to send you an email. So I'll need your email address so I can send you the information. So we are going to go through Thursday night, and so that way Friday I can get everything ordered, but I do have some kits available. I do have a super huge special. If you haven't seen your email, oh my goodness, you better check it. And if you're not on my email list, make sure you click on the link to subscribe to my email list. I have an awesome special that I'm offering starting today and going through tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. It is my Lucky Day giveaway. So anyone placing an online order in my store using this host code listed, it will be listed on the Facebook page, it's listed in the email, and it will be listed on my website. If you place a $50 order in my store, you are going to receive a 48-piece package of 6x6 designer series paper. Now, all of them are random. I don't have rhyme or reason what's in them. So, but it's 48 sheets of they're past papers. But I have such a large stock that I'd like to share all this with you. So let's get going on our card because it is lunch break and we have a limited amount of time. So, sorry, you will hear my dog barking in the background. Someone must be at the door or coming up the driveway. It's probably the mailman. We're going to be using our our Wildlife Wonder stamp set today, our Mossy Meadow ink pad, and our Soft Suede ink pad. In addition to that, we're going to be using some fabulous designer series paper. And it is the beauty of the earth. So you can kind of see I've cut a lot of mine up here, but there are some gorgeous prints in here, and this is available in our online catalog. Now, I will have a recipe listed on my website, so you can print it out. It will be a color photo, measurements, and I'm sorry, not the measurements. If I can fit it on there, I will. But it'll be a color photo and all the supplies I've used to make this one. So we're going to be doing a triple layer card. So in the past, you probably have seen triple layer cards be stamped. All the layers are stamped. This time, we're not going to be stamping them. We're going to use our designer series paper. Okay, so say hi if you're joining. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that people have found me. And we're going to start with a piece of Pear Pizzazz, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Let's just get out our bone folder here and give it a good press. There we go. I then have pieces of designer series paper. So our first piece here is 5 1/4 by 4. We have another piece at 4 3/4 by 3.5. And a third piece of designer paper which measures 4 1/4 by 3. So it was 5 1/4 by 4, 4 3/4 by 3.5, and 4 1/4 by 3. I'll go ahead and put all these dimensions on my website, so you'll have to hop over to the website to take a look at what the measurements are. Now, with that, I have coordinating cardstock. This measures at 5 by 3 3/4, and this one is 4 1/2 by 3 1/4. So what's going to be happening is we're going to be layering all of this. And instead of stamping, we're going to let our designer series paper do the work for us. And this is how it's going to look. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to grab my seal here, I'm going to assemble all this, and then we'll get to our stamping. I do have another card that we'll make, and we're going to use the stitched rectangle dies, and I'm going to show you how you can save on your designer series paper. So if you have paper, though, that you just need to do something with and you feel guilty about throwing it away, this is a great way to use up your designer series paper. So let's get this one. And the next one here. Our next piece. And if you have designer series paper that has a particular direction to it, make sure you're putting it down right. So if you wanted to have this landscape card, make sure when you cut it that you're cutting it in landscape. Otherwise, going like this, it's going to be a little mixed up. But this really coordinates with the stamps that I'm using by doing a landscape version. And again, you could always do a horizontal version or portrait version. So landscape is going the long way. Portrait is going the short way. So this is short. Okay, and our last piece of designer paper here. Now, I know in the last couple weeks I have been showing the waves of the ocean. Oh, you won't be disappointed because that will be the next one that we use with our stitch rectangle dies. Next I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a piece of white. I have one piece that is 5 1/4 by 4, and that's going to be for the inside of my card. And then I have a second piece that is the same size, just because it was easier to cut, and we're going to do our stamping on that. We are going to do a little fussy cutting, because when we're not using dies, I like to, I don't know, I like my images to be cut out. So I'm going to go ahead and take my stamp right to my stamp pad, right to my stamp. It's a larger stamp, and sometimes having this larger block is kind of awkward to go into the stamp pad. So in those cases, I just take my stamp pad to my stamp. We're going to go ahead and stamp this right up here. All right. I'm going to just reach over and get this cleaned off real quick. And I want to use this same thing again. This time we're going to be using this piece of land here to kind of give our grizzly bear or brown bear there a little base. So I'm going to go ahead and take this, and actually I'm going to use a smaller, skinnier block so I can see where I want that to go. All right. So we're taking our mossy meadow. Now I just re-inked this, so we'll see how dark it is. All right, and I'm going to slide this down just so I can stamp, so I can see it. And oh, that was pretty close. Not quite close enough, but we'll make it work. All right, let's go ahead and close our stamp pads up, and we're going to trim this out. And by the magic of television, ta-da, I am super speedy at cutting these out. All right, the other thing I do want to do is I do want to punch a cloud. So I'm just grabbing my scrap here, or you can use the other half of this. And I'm going to grab my cloud punch, which is right next to me here. And I'm going to punch a cloud out. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back my stamp set, because I'm going to do for all the great things that you do. And no, I haven't mounted my labels yet. I'm still trying to plan when I'm going to do my video on mounting your cling mount stamps and the labels. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. All right, again, I'm going with the mossy meadow. I'm making sure which way my direction of my stamp is so that I can stamp this right on here, just like that. Put this away. Where'd my other stamp go? There we go. Just trying to put away these stamps so I don't lose them, because sometimes I like to walk away when they're on my table. All right, next thing is we're going to bring back in our card base. And we're going to be putting our grizzly bear down and our cloud down, just like that. Notice I don't have a lot of other embellishments, but I'm going to bring in these pebble enamel shapes. I couldn't resist using them with this. So let's get this one started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my liquid glue here. And oops, that was quite a bit. That's going to be rough. Okay. All right, and I'm going to bring in my silicone mat since I made a bit of a mess. Oh, there we go. And I'm going to just set my bear so he's just touching that. And I'm just going to give it a moment to set. So now it gives him, it looks like he's walking on something, which is what I wanted. All right, so let's take some dimensionals here and let's get him popped up. And that just slid into, all right. So we're going to try to add a dimensional right here where I have that glue. I'm hoping it doesn't move around too much, just because it oozed out right there. So I think I really need to have something. All right, and we'll put one up here. So go ahead and peel these backings off. Being careful of this one. All right, and we'll stick this right on here, just like that. And I am just going to adhere the cloud right behind the bear, just right on the front of my card layer, just like that. All right, so quick and easy, triple layer card. I didn't have to do a lot of stamping. My designer series paper is doing the work for me. Let's go ahead and add our embellishments. And let's see here. I'm going to grab my take a pick tool and use my little kind of spatula end here. And I'm just going to randomly put some of these down. Oop, that one slid a little too far under. Let's get that one back out. Let's just put it right there. We'll put another one over here. And I think we'll add... we're going to add this one right here. We'll add right in there. Okay, and you can add as many as you'd like. I'm just adding a couple, just for a little visual. All right. So that is the first one with no die cutting, just using your scissors to quickly cut that out. I know mine was very fast in cutting. It did take me a moment or two to actually cut it out before, but... Okay, let's get to our second card, and then I'm going to show you a couple alternatives that I also made. So I'm going to pull in this right here. We're going to move this one out of the way. And I'm going to pull in my parts and pieces with this. So I have a piece of thick Whisper White, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. We're going to go ahead and just burnish that down so it's nice and flat. I now have a piece of designer series paper, and this measures, make sure I have my right dimensions on this one. This is 4 inches by 5 1/4. I have a piece of foil, which comes in that product suite. So there is 3 different color foils. We're going to be using 2 different ones. This one measures 5 by 3 3/4. And this one measures 6 inches by 2 3/4. And we're going to move some of these other pieces out. I'm probably going to bring in my Rhinestone Waves Basic Jewels. Just love those. And they are on that product special, so they're still available. So make sure you get them while they're hot. They will, I'm pretty sure they will sell out. So if you don't have them yet, you're going to want to get them. And if you like the whole suite of products, so it's the jewels, the stamp set, the dies, and the papers and everything, make sure to order that product suite. And when you do, I'm going to be giving you a class for 4 additional cards using the products that you bought. Okay, hello Becky, hello Barbara. How is everyone today? All right, so here are my little tricks with this one. And I do have a piece of white here. And my piece of white measures 4.5 by 3.5. And I think I used it for something else, so we'll just grab this piece in. Yeah, I used it for something else earlier. Oops. Okay. Does not matter because we'll be die cutting it anyways. Oh wait, this might be the one. That's the one. I actually have a much larger piece because I'm going to be die cutting. So now I'm taking out my rectangle dies. I kind of had them all organized for myself here. But you get a large set of these. So I'm going to put these kind of all back together so you can see how I'm grabbing them out. So what I'm doing here is I'm grabbing the alternate one. So I'm grabbing the largest one here. And then I'm skipping one and going to the next largest. So let's get this. So I'm skipping a layer in between. And then this one. All right. These three here are the ones I'm going to use for the foil and our white cardstock. So I'm actually going to just use this one and this one. All right. Get those out of the way. Now for my other piece. Uh-oh, where did my stamp set go? I do need the stamp set and dies to do this with, so bear with me just a moment. Okay, I got the wave dies, and where did the stamp set go? Okay. And I can't believe I just misplaced my stamp set. Here it is. This, and I'm going to pull in my Night of Navy and my Pacific Point because I don't know which color I really want to use. All right, but I really want to show you how to do this layout and how to save yourself some paper and everything. So let's start with our topmost layer here, our designer series paper. I'm going to bring in our cut and emboss, and let me see if okay. You're only going to see a portion of it, but I'll make sure so you can see how I'm laying out those rectangles for you. All right, so I've got my bottom, my top, and one of my cutting plates here. Now, and this is the way my card is going to go, so I just have to figure out which way I'm going to center my die. So I'm going to put my die. Now this piece will just fit on here. All right, so I'm going to just get it on there, make sure I'm actually on. And then I'm going to be centering these. All right, you do want to get them centered. You don't necessarily have to measure, but you definitely do want them straight. And now, to make sure it stays straight, I like to take a piece of my Post-it note tape and set it down. That way I know everything is going to stay aligned where I need it to. I'm going to run this through my die cut machine here. And the table's going to shake while I do that. It is a beautiful day here in Wisconsin. It's about 60 out. It's kind of spring feverish because now I'm thinking, oh, I want to get out and do some yard work. And I'm like, yeah, but who knows? It might snow again. All right. So I have these three pieces cut. So I'll just pull off our Post-it note tape here. And you can see I have a couple different rectangles. Oops, that one didn't cut all the way through. All right. My one die just to completely cut the little corner. So all I'm doing is bending it back and forth there to, there we go. So I have 3 rectangles. Now let's get our piece of foil. Now one thing I'm going to tell you about foil. When you are die cutting and you have plates that are scratched up and all that stuff, it's going to leave some impressions in your foil. So if you don't want those impressions, use a newer plate. Now, I don't want to waste all that foil. So here again, with my paper saving technique, I'm going to go ahead and put this one right in the middle. Bring back in my Post-it note tape. Just like that. Run this through. And then I have one more to do for my white. Okay. So now you can see I have two pieces here. And it didn't quite go through, so I'm going to run it through one more time. It's kind of a thicker material, so. So sometimes when you run it through, you might have to run it through one way and then back through again, just to make sure it's cutting like it should. Especially when you have a thicker material. All right, so now again, peel my Post-it note tape off, and now I've got two triangles. This piece is scrap, but if you really want to figure out how to use it, go ahead. And our last piece to die cut is our white. So I'm going to put my rectangle here. It's the same one I just cut out of the center of the foil, but I'm also going to bring in my waves dies because I want that sentiment and I want this tag. So I might as well, saving paper again, go ahead and put that right in the center. No one's going to see that, so I don't have to worry about there being a hole in my paper. No one's going to see it. There we go. Okay, let's get that out of the way. So now I have my sentiment section and I have my rectangle. So we're going to go ahead and just move all these pieces out of the way so we don't lose them and it doesn't cause clutter and confusion here on the screen. Okay. We'll get this out of the way, that out of the way. Okay, here we go. So let's get to layering. So we've got our card base here. And this time I'm going to be using my liquid glue for this. And oh, that one seems kind of empty. All right, we'll grab this one. So anytime the UPS guy or FedEx guy or mail person comes, my dog just has an issue. He feels like he's got to defend the entire block against that stranger coming to the door or the driveway or the mailbox. So you'll hear him a lot. All right, so I'm going to put my first layer down and I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. So you can use the same dimensions as we did in this card to cut your base, but if you don't have the die cuts, then just do it. So now I'm just going to keep layering. So now you notice I still have the opening, so I could actually make a really cute background in here if I wanted, but I want to do the layering technique, so this is what we're going to do. So I'm just going to keep putting my adhesive here. Now if you notice, I'm using a funny little container. I got this container on Amazon. It comes like in a pack of 12, so but it gives me a nice thin streak, and I am using my mono adhesive, my liquid glue. I just went ahead and put it in there, so I just squeezed it all in there. All right, there we go. Now your foil too, you can get fingerprints all over it, so careful when you're doing stuff. We'll get our next layer here, and then we'll be doing our white layer. I'm just trying to do this real quick here. I will have the recipe for the Wildlife Wonder card that we did. Ooh, oopsie. Oh, please, I get a Kleenex to wipe that up. All right, I'm not really worried about the inside there because that's going to be covered anyways. We're going to take our last piece of white here, just like that. And because I have so much more area, I'll just use my seal this time. And I am making sure that I'm going around that opening. I really want this to stick. I don't want it to be lifting up. All right, just like that. And now I have my last piece of designer series paper, and I'm just going to put it right in the middle, just like that. Again, I'm just using my seal just because it goes a little faster. All right, and decide which way you want your pattern to go. All right, there is one thing that I did not cut out yet, so I'm going to get that die cut. So we have our 6 by 2 3/8 strip of blue foil here, and I'm going to take one of the wave dies. So there's 2 wave dies that come in here. So take your pick on whichever one you want. I'm just going to use this one and this one. I'm going to die cut, and then I'll have a little bit of extra piece. So what you can do with that is, we'll go ahead and cut out some birds. So I'll just put those right there. All right, let's get this run through real quick. Yeah, where did my other plate go? There it is. All right. So I know you won't see this. I'm kind of off camera, but you'll see it come through. So now this wave just fits on the 2 3/8 piece of foil. But I didn't want to waste my foil because it's beautiful. I know that's how all of us are. Don't deny it. There's no judging here. It's okay. You can be a paper saver. All right. Okay. So I'm just going to slide this off here. And you're going to see that we have all sorts of little pieces. They come out pretty good. Again, I typically roll that back and forth more than once, but I only did it the one time now, and you see how these pieces come off. And if you want to save those pieces for something else, feel free. I have no idea what I do with them. If you do have this, and you do come up with an idea for these random pieces that are in there, share them with us. Let us know. Inquiring minds want to know what you're going to come up with. And now I have my 2 little birds I want to make sure I pop out here. And sorry about that. We get so many spam calls during the day, and it's constantly Spectrum trying to sell me a Spectrum, and I don't want Spectrum. So, what I really like is that they use someone else's phone number so it seems like someone is really calling you. Okay, so now I'm just going to adhere this on with some liquid glue. Now you can put it at the bottom. You could trim it down to have it right here. It's totally up to you where you want to place it. I am just going to put it right there. So I am going to bring in my silicone mat, and we're going to bring in that little fine tip here. Yeah, I really like, again, I'm going to say it, I'm a sucker for anything aquatic, oceanic, wildlife. Yep, that's me. That's who I am. And especially since I have a whole family of hunters and wildlife and outdoor enthusiasts in my family, I tend to go more for these sets. And I don't have little girls, so I use a lot of more masculine things. I'm really glad my friends have little girls so that I can spoil them. Okay, so I just want to run the edges there. Ooh, now, yes, glue will stick to your foil. So we'll have to see if I can peel that off once I get it on. I didn't realize I had that big glue goober there. So let's get this on first. And I want to go right down here. So I'm just matching my corners, and then I'll worry about this other part. All right, so what do you do when you have a glue goober? Well, you can let it kind of dry, but you don't want it to go too dry because you won't be able to get it off. But I'm going to take an eraser, and I'm just going to gently kind of pull it off with the eraser. Okay. Now go over here and get this other piece. And hopefully your eraser will pick it up. There we go. All right. Glue goobers are gone. Woohoo! All right. I want to add this. So I'm going to need a little bit of ribbon. So the ribbon I want to use is one I've been using for a while now. And it is the Flowers for Every Season. Now this is most likely going to be retiring. I'm giving you a hint right now. So if you like this ribbon pack, so there's 3 different kinds. There's Jade, Misty Moonlight, and White. Since Misty Moonlight and Jade are retiring, you know that the ribbon and everything else that has those colors in are going to retire as well. So there's your heads up, your your little public notification. And now we can stamp in Night of Navy, or we can stamp in Pacific Point. So here's the two colors. I think, I'm going to make this really stand out, and I'm going to go with Pacific Point. So let's go ahead and open this up. Let's grab our block here and put it off to the side. We'll use this one. And the sentiment I'm going to use this time in here is, "You're so totally awesome." So I'll put that on the block. Where'd the block go? Ink that up. Now, you could very well stamp this before you die cut this piece. In fact, it might be easier. I'm just so used to doing this that I tend to do it before. Okay. And if I don't like how it's stamped, I can just simply flip that over and use the other side, because Stampin' Up! Gave us reversible paper. Tee-hee. Okay, most paper is, but okay. So now I want to thread this through. So I'm going to go from my left to my right. And I'll leave a strip like that. And we'll open this up here. Make sure my ribbon is straight. I'm just going to tie a little knot. So I'm just going to trim this end off right here. And then I'll make it all pretty once I have it tied. So I'm going to slide this over for right now so I can tie my knot. And I've got glue all over my fingers. This is making it tying a knot a little challenging. Yeah, everything is sticking to it. All right. We're still under that half-hour time frame. Woohoo. All right, I'm going to give it a tug. We'll pull in my nice sharp snips here. Okay, not my snips, but my scissors, whatever. You know what they're called. The sharp instrument that cuts things. And not a steak knife. All right, so now I can slide that right over. And once I decide where I want that, I could easily just put a little glue dot right underneath. Or I can just leave it. So I think I might just put a little bit of glue under there, just because it's kind of moving around. And if I don't have a glue dot, I can just take my handy dandy liquid glue right here and just put it out there, just like that, and give it a little press so it holds. And now I have my two little seagulls here. These are probably some of the most pretty seagulls I've ever seen. Seagulls are not very friendly birds. I don't know if you've ever been to a beach where they've decided that they wanted whatever it was that you had in your beach bag, but they're kind of vicious. All right. Although when I lived in Florida, it was pretty funny because we did try to warn tourists of that. And people thought we were crazy until they were attacked by seagulls. I mean, they weren't physical. I mean, okay, the seagulls dive bombed for their food. They didn't like attack the people, but okay. So that is our triple layering technique using our rectangle dies and doing our paper saving technique. I love doing that. But if you don't have a die cutting machine, you can easily do the same thing with just cutting your paper. So thanks so much for joining today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a wonderful day. Go outside and get some fresh air. It's gorgeous out. Hopefully it's gorgeous where all of you are as well. Take care. And tomorrow night, Stampin' Fun and More at 6:44. I have another awesome card. I have a couple cards, but I'm just going to show you a little sneak peek. Ooh, it's a St. Patrick's Day card. Even though I don't have a St. Patrick's Day stamp, I made a St. Patrick's Day card that I can use for anything. All right. Have a great day. Bye.